That girl be booking. That girl be booking. That girl be booking. That girl be booking. What? Girl be booking. That girl be booking. That girl be booking. That girl be booking. Hey, what is going on, y'all? How y'all been? I know it's been a good little while, but listen, fret no longer, okay? Because your girl, Dani Santos, is here with another episode, okay? But first and foremost, y'all know how we do it. Paz benditos para você e sua familia, or in other words, peace and blessings to you and your family, okay? So we are on episode 5, book 5, and this one is, this is one for your ass. This is one of my favorites. Put it right there in the top freaking 5. Okay, so I've heard lots of great things about this book, but it was my friend who really solidified this book for me. She said this needs to be the book that you review next, and she was 100% right. This book is love. This book is life. This book is powerful. It's brilliant. And I am speaking of the spook who sat by the door. The spook who sat by the goddamn door. Okay. What is this book all about? Oh, before we start, look who's here with me. Big baby. So for those who are just finding me, whenever I finish a book, all of my thoughts and summaries go in Big Baby here. So if you see me just looking down from time to time, that is what I'm looking at, because it's a lot that I want to convey and I don't want to miss anything or skip anything. So if you just see me looking down, I'm just looking into the book. But moving right along. This book is like chess, right? Really sitting patiently, waiting, examining your opponent, really having a bird's eye view of the board, having planned and executed in your mind the end game before your opponent has figured out their next move. That is what this book is, and that is why it is so brilliant, and it is a phenomenal read. This book is very much needed. The Spook Who Sat by the Door takes place in the late 60s. And the director of the CIA has just been confronted for the agency not being integrated. So Dan Freeman and a number of other black men were recruited into the CIA camp. And so from there, they went through rigorous mental and physical tests and training. And as you all know, Whitey is like, no. Only one of you niggas can be into the CIA. Only one of you niggas getting in. Okay? It's a number of you all here. Y'all need to go on, because we can have too many y'all niggas running around in the building. One will do. And so that one was Dan Freeman. He mastered all of the agency's trainings. And he worked with them for a while, and he was, their showpiece, right? Said, hey, this unexceptional nigga is here in this exceptional place. And, just be glad that you're here amongst us whites, But Dan was not satisfied with that. He wasn't happy with that. Being the first African American in the CIA was not an accomplishment for him. This was a man who was fed up and had a serious plan. Like I said, working for the CIA, having been a while now, Dan and the general being the director of the CIA, they're now at dinner. And I want to read an excerpt from the book, but I'm just setting up the scene for y'all. Okay, so now they're at dinner, and the dinner is like a performance review. The general wants to just tell him how good of a job he's doing, and how it's wonderful him being here, whatever, so forth and so on. But let me read this part of the book. hold on to your nips. Dan, I want to say how pleased I am at the way you fitted into the agency. To be frank, I had my reservations at first, but they've been completely eliminated by your performance. If more of your people would like you, there will be much less difficulty. The general took a sip of his drink, rolled it on his tongue a moment before swallowing, then made a tent with his fingers. Honest sweat and toil. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps like the immigrants. These demonstrations and sit-ins stir up needless emotions. Your people must demonstrate a respect for law and order and earn the respect and affection of the whites. Take yourself as an example. A fine natural athlete. No denying you people are great athletes. Yes, said Freeman, and we sing and dance too, right? In the fields of sports and entertainment, you're unsurpassed. But you must admit, there's still a social and cultural gap to be closed. The Africans did develop centuries later than the Europeans, you know. As I've said, you're a fine athlete, but I think you have to admit your intellectual shortcomings. It will take generations, Dan. It's not a question of prejudice, but rather one of evolution. And then Dan kicked his head clean off his goddamn shoulders. No, he didn't do that. That's part what I would have done. But what did Dan do? As the saying goes back in the day, cool as a cucumber. Okay? He showed no emotion, although infuriated, no doubt. He could not let his cover be blown. And his cover was that of being everything that the white man needed to see. Being everything that the white man wanted. That was his cover. So, years had passed, and Dan quit the CIA. Went back to his home of Chicago, where he was a social worker. And on the agenda of the program that he worked for, it was agenda of getting through to the gangs in Chicago, specifically the Cobras. Now, the Cobras were around when Dan was young. So, I mean, he knows them well. All right. So he went to a place, one of their usual spots, and he sat back, remember? He sat back, looked at them, and just seeing if these young boys were going to be ready, or are the ones to execute what he had brewing, execute his plan to start a revolution. Okay. Dan had everything planned to a T. Okay, this was a well executed plan, and it took months. He took all of his training and knowledge of the CIA and gave it to these boys. They became militant. He talked to each one of them individually and knew that these were brilliant young men who were just doing just frivolous things around the city of Chicago. But he gave them a chance. He said, do you really want to stick it to Whitey? I'm going to show you how. And so he gave them that knowledge and that training. And one wave of the plan was executed flawlessly. I'm talking about stealing military guns from federal buildings, robbing a bank, and the whole time the white man is looking for someone else. They're not even looking for black people, because it's no black person has the mental capacity to carry out something so beautifully. Like, to carry this plan like a plan of this magnitude to really carry this out, there is no way that a Black person has the mental capacity to do this, or they're not even looking for them. And no one at his job, Dan still has a cover, right? No one suspects him of anything or being a part or being the leader of this revolution. And things are underway now. Things are really happening. They call themselves the freedom fighters. Things are really happening. And nothing or no one is going to stand in Dan's way. Because one of the quotes, this whole book is phenomenal, but one quote that I love in this book is what Dan said to one of his co-workers. Because his co-workers, when the first wave of the revolution started, everyone was just like, what is going on? They were worried about funding. Like his program was worried about funding because money was given to really help the gangs of Chicago and really get them together and rehabilitated and things like that. And so they were worried about that and losing the funds, because now it's just like, okay, so what's really going on, Dan? What are you doing? What's happening in the streets? And so one of his co-workers said to him, well, why do you think this is happening? What do you think it is? Is it revenge? And so Dan said, no, not revenge, retaliation. And there's a subtle but important difference, because you cannot cage a group of people and not expect to have anger, to have rage. You cannot expect for a group of people to be okay with the way things are and how they're treated. So that's one of the quotes that I absolutely love in this book. And now, like I said, the revolution is on the way now. But now they're expanding. So they're broken up into groups. And so now those groups have been dispersed to different cities to start a revolution there, to bring it all home, to bring it all together. This book, once again, is absolute love. Get your hands on this book. Read this book now. I give this book 100 out of 100. Okay? That does it for me, ladies and gentlemen, on today's episode of I'll Be Booking. And please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell their friends. You know the deal. Y'all know the deal. But thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for listening to my review on this book. Next review, it's gonna be a good one too. I'm just so in love with this book that I'm reading now. So come back. You gotta come back to figure out what book this is. Okay? I'll see y'all next time. All right. Bye.